Greetings and salutations. I'm Sherri, and I'm going to do something today that is either really brave or really stupid. I'm going to try a new quilt-as-you-go technique on camera without prior practice. I'm using this quilt behind me because it's all in rows and it's big pieces, so I think it'll be really easy to work with. And this only takes like 5 steps to do the whole thing. So let me show you how to do this. So I've taken down this last row. When I said I hadn't done this technique, I haven't done the joining. I am loving the quilting part of this though. So my goal at this time in my life is to use up as many scraps as I can. And to use up my stash. So this block, this is the wonky log cabin block my way. And then I dug out some batiks and some polka dots. I didn't have enough of either of them to do the whole thing, so I did a little mix and match. This is going to be a charity quilt. And I imagine some teenager or kid will like this. Now, this block itself is a 10.5 inch block. So this row is 10.5 inches. I cut my batting 10 inches so that I could hopefully have a little less bulk when I join these rows. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but the videos I watched, it did. And I'm going to pin base these with just regular straight pins. I thought about using safety pins, but when I'm free motion quilting, they don't always come loose easily. So I'm just doing this. And my pin basting is a little, well, my rules are just less rigid. If the batting stays where it's supposed to be, then I've got enough pins. If it moves around, then I don't have enough pins. So really, this is just the pin basting that you would do with any quilt. Now, the other reason I like this so far, the quilting has been spectacularly easy and fun. Just because there's less bulk to work with, because you're working with just rows of the quilt, you're not moving the whole quilt. So I see that as a real positive. You probably are noticing that I'm putting a pin kind of in the middle every once in a while. The design that I'm quilting this with is a design that comes up and back. And so I'm using that one in the middle, not only for stabilization, but to kind of help me keep track of where I am in the size of the block. Now, this system would also, and for me, honestly, is a great system because I got to use up some more batting scraps. And batting scraps are just as important as crumbs and everything else. You'll notice my batting's a little longer than my row. I did that intentionally. The first row that I quilted while I was planning this video, I made the batting the same length, and all quilting causes the batting to tighten up a little bit, and I barely had enough batting to cover the end of the row. So learn from my mistakes and make sure you've got a little batting on each end. The other thing that I learned is while I'm quilting this, you can start anywhere you want, but I have these large areas of negative space. So I started in the middle. When I started at the very end, if I had started here, keeping everything together was really a big challenge. So I started by moving it from the middle to the outside, and that helped me a lot. The other thing I really like about this quilt-as-you-go technique is you can use up scraps or short yardages for your back. So you have a pieced back. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've chosen. And some of you may look at me and cross your eyes and say, that doesn't work at all. But let me zoom you in a little bit because both of these have sort of dots on them. This definitely has dots. And this gold and brown is reflected over here. So when they're next to each other, they actually look okay. And it used up two pieces of fabric that was just about 2 yards each. Not enough for a quilt, but perfect to piece a backing. Let's go to the sewing machine and do some quilting. So here I am at the machine. As I told you earlier, I'm starting in the middle of this row. I've got quite a bit on each end, and I've done a few stitches here just to get it going. And I'm using black uh, because I really don't want to take away from kind of the wonky log cabins, but I'm also embracing the wonkiness in my uh, quilting here by just doing straight lines and just kind of zigzagging along. The thing about free motion quilting, I don't have a stitch regulator. So the speed of the machine and the speed that I move the fabric is what makes the stitch length the way it is. And I can go fast, but I don't always go fast. I don't feel the need to rush this process because this is already so much faster than hand quilting for me. I'm also watching as I go because I can see my pins and I'll take those out as we go along. So for now, I'm just quilting about halfway. When we get to the end of this section, then I'm going to turn around and quilt the other half. Here we go. There's another. Now I'm to the end of this fabric, this long piece of fabric, and I'm just going to follow my log cabin block. And then I'm going to turn this whole thing around and go back the other way. And I see I've accidentally gotten 3 of these pieces that look kind of the same height, but it doesn't matter. So let me show you what this looks like on the other side. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to finish quilting this row, and then we're going to make our sandwiches and join our rows. Stay tuned. Now this step may bend your brain just a little bit, but just hang with me and it'll all make sense in a minute. So I decided I definitely wanted the rows to be in the same order because I have a pattern in my head and I want them to look the same. So I numbered them. You can see I've got a little number here and a little number here. And what I'm going to do is put these front sides together. And don't stick yourself like I just did. And we're just going to lay these facing each other, just like if we were going to sew it up and it hadn't been quilted. Now, I have found a variety of different things to stabilize this has been very, very helpful. First of all, I'm using a lot more straight pins because this fabric wants to wiggle around. And the clips just, at least the clips I have, are not sturdy enough. So here I am, I'm matching corner to corner, and I'm going to put a pin right there. Actually, yeah, we'll do it that way. Because this is the side I'm going to sew up eventually. So I want those two to be super even and stable. And I'm going to go all the way down, making sure these two rows are lined up perfectly. I'm going to turn my pins around because in a minute I can just see myself sticking myself. And although I'm putting a lot of love and energy into this, I don't think it needs my blood. Okay, now here's the part that might bend your mind. I'm going to take my backing pieces that I've already cut. They're longer than I need them to be, but the width is already predetermined and is accurate. And I'm going to put these facing each other. Now this time I'm just going to loosely line them up because we're going to, I think I will use my quilts. Because really I just want these two pieces to be together for a short minute. Okay, here comes the mind bend. So I'm going to lay this down so that the backing is down first and the two backing pieces are face to face. Now we're going to lay our batting. Oh, I've got it reversed. Hang on a second. The quilted piece. And line these edges up with your backing pieces. Yes, I have two backing pieces on the same side, and this piece doesn't have it. But when you sew this together and open it out, those two backing pieces are going to hide the seam where all this has been joined together. I'm going to finish lining this up and take it to the sewing machine. I'll see you there in just a minute. Here I am back at the sewing machine, and I have changed to my walking foot. I have raised the feed dogs so that this will feed through. This is a lot of layers. I mean, I got 4 layers of fabric and 2 layers of batting. So we'll see how this goes. I may have to put in a heavier needle. But as I said in the beginning, I'm doing this in front of you for the first time, which is either very brave or very silly. So far, it looks like my guesstimate on the 1/4 inch for the batting is about right. And as I'm going along, I'm going to be very, very aware and double check and triple check to make sure I'm getting both pieces of backing. They are moving around just a little bit. All right, let's go back to the table and fold this and see what we've done. So I'm going to start by taking the pins out that held my 2 quilted pieces together. Some of them I took out as I went, but not all of them. Okay, we're folding the front sides out, and they are joined, and they are quilted. Now for the big reveal. Let's see what happens at the back. It works. It works beautifully. I may have a new quilting system here to replace all the rest of my quilting systems because I like it a lot. Now you're going to see why I put number 1 and number 2 on, because we're going to join the next row. And I definitely want row 3 here, not up here at the number 1 spot. Look at that. I love it. Let's add another row. We're going to do it just like we did before. Right sides together, right sides together. So we'll keep the weight of the quilt to my left and on this table where we're working. Easy peasy. Process is exactly the same for adding the row as it was before. Here's my number 3 that I want to stay with number 2. And then my next fabric will be this gold row. And we're going to put right sides together on that and sew a seam. I like it a lot. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm going to finish this seam just like I did the other one. Okay, so after I pinned my two fronts together, I flattened everything out, and again, face to face on the backing, face to face on the two quilted pieces, and I have gone along and clipped so that all of these edges stay lined up. And as you can see, it's going to fold out and do just fine. Let's go to the sewing machine and put it together. So as I bring this to the machine, I'm actually going to pull my little table over here to help support the weight. Normally I would move the ironing board over there, but that's where my equipment is sitting for this recording, so we'll do fine. Okay, generous 1/4 inch. Just like before. I love this. Okay, just like before, I've unpinned it from the piece, it was the quilted piece, and I verified that the seam has caught all the layers. And here's what it's going to look like. Oh, I can see many more Quilt-as-you-go projects in my future. And when you flip it the other way, everything's lined up. It looks great. Well, I'm going to finish this quilt today, probably the way things have been going. I'm very pleased with this process. It's going to open up a lot of doors and thoughts on ways I can quilt different things. To summarize, it works great for rows. So if you have something that you can put together in rows, cut your batting the same width as the row, cut your backing the same width as the row, sew your row to your batting and do whatever quilt design you like. Then put 2 rows of quilted fabric together facing each other and 2 rows of backing fabric facing each other. Then connect those 4 edges and sew. That's all there is to it. Thanks so much for watching.